Welcome back, everyone. Ready for another deep dive?
Always ready.
Awesome. So today we're going to be diving into a topic that's, I think, universally relatable.
Yeah, pretty much everyone's been there.
Exactly. It's anxious attachment. We're going to be taking a deep dive into Jessica Baum's book, Anxiously Attached.
Great book, lots to unpack there.
It really is. It's packed with insights. So before we even jump into all the nitty-gritty details, have you ever felt like, I don't know, you need constant reassurance in your relationships? Like, that kind of nagging feeling of do they really love me, or are they going to leave?
Oh, yeah, that's anxious attachment calling. And, it's way more common than people realize. It really all stems back to, how our needs were met or weren't met when we were kids.
Right, right. So the book digs into this idea that our early experiences actually shape our brains, especially when it comes to relationships.
Yeah.
Can you give us an example of what that actually looks like?
Sure, Baum actually uses this really powerful example of a child who learned to be super quiet around a parent with a really explosive temper.
Wow.
Yeah, the kid basically figured out that, hey, if I just stay quiet, I can avoid, setting off a huge outburst.
Makes sense.
And what's wild is that these early interactions, they actually leave a physical mark on our brains. They actually shape how we connect with other people later in life.
Okay, that's pretty intense.
Yeah.
But I feel like some people might hear that and be like, wait, so are you saying it's my parents' fault?
No, not at all. The point isn't to point fingers. It's about understanding, right? It's
Yeah.
about recognizing that these early experiences have a real impact, and that knowledge can be, well, incredibly powerful, actually.
Okay.
Because once you understand that, then you can start to recognize those patterns in your own life, and you can make a conscious effort to change them.
Yeah, and that's really the whole point of this, right? So how does this anxious attachment style actually show up in adult relationships?
In lots of ways, you might find yourself constantly worrying about whether your partner really loves you or if they're going to leave, that fear of abandonment.
Yeah.
And that can lead to all sorts of behaviors, like always needing reassurance, getting super jealous easily.
I can see how that would be exhausting for both people in the relationship. So what if someone is listening right now and they're thinking, okay, this is me, this is so me. Where do I even start to work on this?
The first step is honestly self-awareness, really taking the time to recognize those anxious attachment patterns, and figuring out what your triggers are.
Yeah, what are those triggers?
Well, a trigger could be anything, really. It could be your partner coming home late or them not texting you back right away. It could be, almost anything that sets off that anxiety.
And that makes me think of this this quote from the book. Baum, she defines self-soothing. Hold on, let me find the exact quote.
Yeah. Self-soothing is super important.
Okay, here it is. She says, self-soothing is the ability to calm and comfort yourself when you're feeling distressed without needing someone else to do it for you.
That's it. Yeah. It's all about learning to manage those big, intense emotions on your own.
Without needing that external validation.
Right. You're building that secure base within yourself, so you're not always leaning on someone else to make you feel okay. And the book actually gives a bunch of tools for that, like mindfulness exercises, journaling, or even just, taking some deep breaths when you feel that anxiety bubbling up.
Yeah, we all need that toolbox.
Yeah.
Right. So, okay, let's say you've started to get a handle on those self-soothing skills. What about setting boundaries? How does that come into play?
Boundaries. So important. But, when a lot of people hear boundaries, they think it means shutting people out or being cold. But Baum actually has a really different take on it.
Right, it's not about rejecting your partner at all.
Exactly. It's about creating a dynamic where you can both thrive, both as individuals and as a couple.
It's about respect.
Exactly. Respecting yourself and your needs. And she gives some really practical advice on how to do that, like learning to say no without feeling guilty, making sure you have time for yourself, and communicating your needs in a clear and assertive way, not being afraid to say what you need.
But I bet there are some people listening who are thinking, okay, this all sounds very, I don't know, clinical. Do we really need to analyze every single interaction in our relationships?
I get that. And it's not about overanalyzing everything. It's more about creating awareness,
Yeah.
building a deeper understanding of yourself and your partner.
Yeah, and Baum repeatedly says, healing, it's a journey. There's no quick fix.
Absolutely. It takes time, patience, and often, support from others, whether that's a therapist, a supportive partner, or even just, close friends who get it.
So it seems like the ultimate goal here is to move towards what Baum calls secure attachment. Can you tell us a bit more about that? What does that actually feel like?
Imagine feeling safe and secure in your relationship. You know you're loved and accepted for who you are, flaws and all.
That sounds amazing.
It is. And you can be vulnerable, but also independent at the same time. It's like that beautiful balance that's the magic of secure attachment.
That interdependence.
Exactly.
So, to wrap things up, Baum leaves us with this really powerful question. She asks, how can understanding your attachment style help you create the loving relationships you deserve? And I think it's such a good reminder that, we all have the capacity for love and connection.
We all do.
And sometimes understanding our patterns is really the key to unlocking that potential. So I hope this deep dive is giving you some valuable insights and maybe even sparked a desire to, learn more about yourself and your attachment style.
Yeah, keep diving deeper.
Exactly. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive, everyone, and we'll see you next time.
See you.